him at the bar. He turned and I was face to face with his giant, sweet grin. "Oh, baby, so good to see you. Come and have a drink. Move over and make room for my sweetie." Hard to stay angry with such a cheery fellow who put a glass of rum in my hand. The next day, through his hangover, he said he'd been feeling a little blue and missed his kids. Poor, sensitive, and loving guy. Now I really couldn't be angry with him. He swore it would never happen again. But it did happen again, and again. Each time he would be terribly remorseful for causing me pain, and each time I would forgive him, thinking, now it'll change. One time on my rounds through town, I couldn't find his truck anywhere. I was in such a panic, I even called his wife. She said, "Sometimes he does this, goes out on a binge and doesn't return for a week. You'll be sorry that you took him from me." 5 days later, I got a sobbing phone call from Indianapolis, Indiana, saying he was so sorry, he hated himself. He was such a horrible person, begging me to forgive him, and would I send him a plane ticket home. It seems he'd abandoned the truck somewhere and hitchhiked west. Our reunion was joyful, full of self-recriminations on his part and reassurances on mine. He was so sad. I knew he would change this time. I vowed to love him so much he would never feel the need to escape again. He thought we should get married. I jumped at the chance. In New York at the time, the only grounds for divorce was adultery, and the injured party had to file. His wife was not going to, so we borrowed $800 from my father, and Seth got a legal Mexican divorce. When he got back, we went to the Justice of the Peace to get hitched. I won't bore you with my codependent doubts and promises to myself that I would leave the next time it happened. We muddled through for about a year, but he could not feel good about himself or his behavior, so he did the most logical thing he could think of, which was to commit himself to Middletown State Mental Hospital. They apparently thought he was nuts too, so they admitted him and put him on Thorazine. The only thing I learned about Thorazine, besides that it made him drool, is that you can get a wicked sunburn if you spend 2 hours in the woods on the grounds of the institution having sex in the sunshine. I thought it was romantic. After a few months, I got tired of trying to make excuses to his customers with half-painted houses and his employees who needed a paycheck. My friend Cornelia had ventured out west and sent me a postcard saying jobs were plentiful in Denver and apartments were $52.50 a month. It seemed a good enough place to go, so I told Seth on one of my visits, after having sex in the shade, that I was going to spring him next week. I packed the '50 Chevy with everything I thought we would need, including a tablecloth, a dish drainer, some clothes, and my mother's guitar that neither of us could play, and swung by the state hospital where he was waiting for me out front. Since I'm a crazy optimist, it took me 5 years and a baby to leave my alcoholic, charming, handsome, crazy, brilliant, self-absorbed, funny, scary, tragic husband. But there, in the parking lot, I jumped out of the car, handed him the keys, and went around to the passenger seat. I snuggled up against him as he started the engine, and we headed off into the sunset.